There is a hidden battle that every dreamer fights, and often it begins at home. You decide to build a new future, to break free from limitations, to pursue a vision no one else can see. But instead of encouragement, you hear doubt. You hear laughter. You hear, "Be realistic." Worse, you hear it from the voices that should lift you higher, your own family. In this moment, many people crumble. They retreat. They shrink their dreams to fit someone else's expectations. But not you. Today's video is about how to win when your family doesn't believe in you. And no one understood this battle better than Napoleon Hill, the man whose timeless classic, Think and Grow Rich, revealed that the greatest victories begin in the mind. Hill taught an uncomfortable truth. Your environment can either fuel your success or sabotage it, and sometimes that environment is made of the people you love the most. Here's the harsh reality. Most families operate from fear, not vision. They've been conditioned by scarcity, past failures, or a worldview that says, "Play it safe." When you begin to defy that programming, you become a threat, not because you're wrong, but because you remind them of what they've settled for. Now pause for a moment. Ask yourself, whose belief matters more, theirs or yours? Hill would argue that no external voice, not even a parent's or a sibling's, should hold more weight than your own burning desire. Desire is the starting point of all achievement. Without it, belief has nothing to build upon. But desire alone is not enough. You must also cultivate faith, not blind hope, but what Hill called a state of mind which may be induced by autosuggestion. In other words, you must program your mind to believe in yourself even when no one else does. Here's your first deep reflection. Are you willing to be misunderstood, even ridiculed, in pursuit of a life that only you can see? Because here's the paradox. The very people who don't believe in you now may one day be the first to say, "I always knew you could do it." But by then, you will no longer need their validation. This is the journey we're about to explore. How to stand strong in your vision, how to turn resistance into fuel, and how to succeed even when the people closest to you don't see the path you're walking. Stay with me. The next few minutes may just give you the mindset shift you've been waiting for. The world has a script it wants you to follow. Go to school. Get a safe job. Stay within the lines. Don't ask for too much. Don't dream too big. And if you dare to break this pattern, you'll face resistance, not just from strangers but from those closest to you. This is no accident. It is the natural byproduct of a society conditioned by fear and conformity. Napoleon Hill wrote, "The majority of people permit relatives, friends, and the public at large to so influence them that they cannot live their own lives because they fear criticism." Pause on that. They fear criticism. This is how the world controls you, not with chains but with invisible threads of disapproval. The moment you step outside the accepted mold, the criticism comes fast and sharp. That's unrealistic. You'll never make it. Who do you think you are? It's important to understand why this happens. Most people live in what Hill called a poverty consciousness. This is not just about money. It's a mindset of limitation. It says, resources are scarce. Opportunities are few. Play it safe or lose everything. When you embrace a prosperity consciousness, when you dare to believe in abundance, creativity, and potential, you challenge the very foundation of their worldview. And here's the truth most won't admit. If you succeed, it forces them to confront the fact that they settled. It's easier to pull you down than to rise themselves. Hill warned about this dynamic in Think and Grow Rich. Close friends and relatives, while not meaning to do so, often handicap one through opinions and sometimes through ridicule. Now think of this in your own life. How many dreams have died, not because they were impossible, but because someone's opinion made them feel impossible? This is the silent tragedy of modern life. Millions of people living lives of quiet desperation, conforming to a false standard because they fear being judged. But here's the deeper cost. When you betray your own authenticity to fit into the world's mold, you disconnect from your power. You create an internal war between who you are and who you pretend to be. And this is why so many feel lost, anxious, depressed. The world told them who to be, and they believed it. But as Hill reminds us, one of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. And often, that defeat is nothing more than other people's disapproval. Here is your choice. Live by their script, or write your own. The world will pressure you to conform. It will try to shame you into mediocrity. But remember, every great achievement was once seen as impossible until someone refused to listen. Stay tuned. In the next section, we'll explore how to cultivate an inner shield so strong, no external voice can derail your vision. Here's a truth almost no one tells you about success. The first victory is invisible. Before the world rewards you, before your bank account changes, before your family finally respects your vision, you must first conquer an inner battlefield no one else can see. This is the real game, and most people lose it before they even begin. Napoleon Hill understood this deeply. He wrote, "You are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. You can make your life what you want it to be." Notice what he didn't say. He didn't say, "You need your family's approval." He didn't say, "Wait until they support you." He said, "You are the master of your destiny." But here's the hidden layer. Mastering your destiny begins with mastering your mind, especially in the face of rejection, criticism, and disbelief from those you love. This is the test few pass. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. When you start changing, your success threatens other people's comfort zones, especially your family's. Why? Because your growth forces them to face their stagnation. It shines a light on dreams they abandoned, on risks they never took. So unconsciously, they push back, not because they hate you, but because they fear what your success says about them. And if you don't understand this dynamic, you'll internalize their doubts. You'll start to think, maybe they're right, maybe I'm crazy. This is where the battle is won or lost. Hill called this auto-suggestion, the process of deliberately planting empowering beliefs in your mind to override external negativity. He taught, any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition of thought. In other words, you must condition yourself to believe in your vision even when no one else does, especially when no one else does. Here's the paradox. The lonelier your path feels in the beginning, the closer you likely are to real transformation. Because true authenticity often requires walking alone before you inspire others to follow. Hill's own life reflected this. Before writing Think and Grow Rich, he faced years of rejection, financial struggle, and skepticism, even from his peers and family, yet he persisted. And today, millions credit his work for changing their lives. So here's your hidden truth. If your family doesn't believe in you, that is not a sign to stop. It's a sign you're on the right path. The greatest breakthroughs often come after the greatest resistance. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is to stay the course, master your inner world, and let your results speak louder than any argument ever could. And that is where true power begins. The next part, we'll explore exactly how to build this unshakable mindset, one that thrives no matter what anyone else says. Stay with me. There's a reason so many people chase success, yet feel empty when they find it. It's because they were chasing an illusion, one sold to them by a world that profits from their disconnection. Let's break this down. The dominant myth says, success means external validation, big house, expensive car, applause, approval from others, especially your family. But here's the trap. If your identity depends on external approval, you will forever be controlled by it. Napoleon Hill warned of this very danger. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self. In other words, if you build your life to impress others, especially those who once doubted you, you will lose yourself in the process. Think about it. How many people grind for years, finally achieve a visible milestone only to feel numb? Why? Because the applause fades, the novelty wears off. And if you built your identity on those fleeting moments, what remains? Another illusion. When your family finally approves of you, then you'll be happy. But this is a moving target. Approval is conditional. It shifts with moods, circumstances, opinions. If you hinge your self-worth on it, you'll live in a perpetual cycle of anxiety. Hill's wisdom cuts through this illusion. The man who wins is the man who thinks he can. Notice, it's not the man whose family believes in him. It's the one whose belief is self-generated, independent of others' opinions. Another myth, success will finally give you peace. But as Hill taught, peace is an inner state, cultivated long before the outer results appear. He wrote, happiness is found in doing, not merely in possessing. Translation: you must find joy in the process, not just the outcome. Because here's a truth no one tells you. Even when you succeed, people will still criticize you. Some will envy you. Some will rewrite the past and claim they always supported you. If your happiness depends on changing their minds, you will remain trapped. Therefore, the real work is this: detach from the illusion that success is about proving others wrong. True success is about becoming the person you admire, regardless of who notices. And when you operate from this space, something powerful happens. You move from reaction to creation. You stop playing society's game and start building your own. This is what Hill ultimately taught. Success is not about possessions, approval, or status. It is about mastery of self. And once you achieve that, no external voice can diminish you. In the next section, we'll move into actionable steps, how to cultivate this inner mastery and live from authentic power, no matter what the world throws your way. Stay tuned. At the heart of lasting success, beyond the noise of critics and the chase for external validation, lies a truth both simple and profound. Authenticity is power. Self-knowledge is freedom. Without these, no amount of wealth, applause, or achievement will ever satisfy you. Napoleon Hill understood this deeper than most. He wrote, "No man can succeed in a line of endeavor which he does not like." Why? Because if you are not aligned with your authentic self, your true desires, your deepest values, then every victory will feel hollow. Hill taught that desire is the starting point of all achievement. But here's the nuance. This must be your desire, not the expectations of your family, not society's definition of success. Authenticity means knowing what truly lights you up. Self-knowledge means understanding your strengths, your values, your vision, independent of the world's opinions. And from this foundation, unshakable power emerges. Here's the danger. When you don't know yourself, you become vulnerable to external programming. You chase what others chase, you value what others value. And this is where so many lose their way. They think, if I just achieve enough, then they'll love me. Then I'll finally be enough. But as Hill warned, success requires no explanations. Failure permits no alibis. Translation: you don't need to justify your path to anyone, nor do you need to seek their permission to walk it. The only approval that matters is your own. And this is the essence of authentic power. When you know yourself deeply, you no longer need to convince anyone. You move from needing validation to embodying conviction. You become magnetic, not because you try to impress, but because you are unapologetically aligned with who you are. Hill emphasized this alignment when he wrote, "There is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants and a burning desire to possess it." Notice the sequence. Knowledge of what one wants. This is self-knowledge. Definiteness of purpose. This is authenticity. And burning desire. This is the unstoppable fuel that arises when you live in alignment with your true self. So here is the core value I invite you to embrace. The more you know yourself, the less you can be controlled. The more authentic you are, the more powerful you become. When you walk this path, the opinions of others, even those of your family, lose their grip. You stop living to impress. You start living to express. And in doing so, you embody the very essence of what Hill called a master mind, a mind no longer swayed by fear or external noise, but guided by inner truth. This is where real success begins, and no one can take it from you. In our next and final section, we'll distill this into a clear call to action, how to walk forward from here with clarity, conviction, and authentic power. Stay tuned. Now that we've uncovered the truth behind authentic power, let's make it practical. How do you move from theory to transformation? Here are 5 actionable steps, rooted in the timeless wisdom of Napoleon Hill, to help you cultivate authenticity, personal power, and deep inner alignment, no matter who doubts you. 1. Clarify your burning desire. Hill famously wrote, "The starting point of all achievement is desire, but not just any desire, your desire, not your family's dream, not society's version of success." Sit with this question. What do I truly want if no one else's opinion mattered? Write it down. Make it vivid. Turn it into a personal mission statement. When your desire is clear, it becomes a compass, and clarity kills doubt. 2. Master auto-suggestion. Hill emphasized, any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition of thought. This is not motivational fluff. It's mental conditioning. If you want to stand strong when others doubt you, you must program your mind daily. Here's a simple practice. Write affirmations aligned with your authentic desire. Repeat them aloud every morning and night with emotion. Example, I am the creator of my destiny. I trust my vision. I move forward with courage and joy. Over time, this creates an inner shield that no external criticism can penetrate. 3. Build a definite purpose. Hill taught, definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Without it, you drift, and drifting makes you vulnerable to others' doubts. Define your purpose clearly. What impact do you want to make? What values guide your actions? Who are you becoming in this process? Purpose creates resilience. When you know why you're walking your path, you can handle any resistance along the way. 4. Guard your environment. Hill warned, the majority of people permit relatives, friends, and the public at large to so influence them that they cannot live their own lives. Translation: be intentional about your influences. You can't always choose your family, but you can choose what you feed your mind. Surround yourself with voices, books, mentors, and communities that reinforce your vision, not diminish it. Your mental diet matters as much as your physical one. 5. Take decisive action, relentlessly. Finally, Hill wrote, successful people make decisions quickly and firmly. Indecision breeds self-doubt. Action builds momentum. Every day, take at least one action, no matter how small, that aligns with your authentic vision. With each step, your confidence grows, your identity shifts, and soon external opinions lose their power over you. In summary, your transformation begins when you 1. Clarify your authentic desire. 2. Condition your mind through auto-suggestion. 3. Anchor in a definite purpose. 4. Protect your mental environment. 5. Take relentless action toward your vision. This is how you embody the core teaching of Napoleon Hill. You are the master of your destiny, and the world will adjust. Principle 1. The law of inner vision. Essence: your inner vision must become stronger than external voices. Hill's teaching: whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Example: Hill conceived the idea of Think and Grow Rich long before the world believed in him. For years, even publishers rejected him, yet he held the vision. How to apply: write your vision, read it daily, visualize it with emotion. If your inner image is clear and dominant, no external opinion will derail you. Transition: but vision alone is not enough. You must also protect the soil where it grows. Principle 2. The law of environmental influence. Essence: guard your mental environment as fiercely as you would guard your health. Hill's teaching: you are where you are because of the dominating thoughts you permit to occupy your mind. Example: Hill immersed himself in the wisdom of successful minds even when surrounded by doubters. He studied the habits of great achievers to reshape his own thinking. How to apply: limit time with negative voices. Curate your media, books, and conversations. Surround yourself with inspiration, not limitation. Transition: now, with a protected mind, the next principle helps you build resilience. Principle 3. The secret of definite purpose. Essence: a clear purpose creates unstoppable resilience. Hill's teaching: definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Example: when Hill set out to distill the philosophy of success, he dedicated over 20 years to it. Purpose kept him moving, despite poverty and ridicule. How to apply: define your purpose in writing. Revisit it often. Purpose gives meaning to the struggle and strength to endure rejection. Transition: but purpose becomes unstoppable only when combined with this next principle. Principle 4. The power of faith through auto-suggestion. Essence: faith is not blind hope, it is mental conditioning. Hill's teaching: faith is a state of mind which may be induced by auto-suggestion. Example: Hill taught countless entrepreneurs to reprogram their beliefs through repeated positive affirmation, building an unshakable faith in their vision. How to apply: craft 5 to 10 empowering affirmations. Speak them aloud daily with conviction. Over time, this reshapes your inner dialogue and neutralizes external doubt. Transition: With faith and purpose aligned, the final principle brings it all into motion. Principle 5. The principle of relentless action. Essence: action dissolves doubt. Hill's teaching: successful people make decisions quickly and firmly. They change them slowly, if ever. Example: every great success Hill studied was built on massive, consistent action, not waiting for permission. How to apply: each day, take one bold action toward your vision. Progress builds confidence. Confidence silences critics, including those in your own family. Closing transition. These 5 principles will help you win not just in the eyes of others, but in the only arena that truly matters: your own. Stay committed. Your journey is yours to own. Now I want to speak directly to you. You've heard the principles. You understand the game behind the game. But here's the moment of truth. What will you do with it? Right now, there's likely a dream in your heart, a vision that perhaps no one around you fully understands. Maybe your family has dismissed it. Maybe they've told you it's unrealistic. But here's the first question I want you to wrestle with, inspired by Napoleon Hill's timeless teaching. Do you really believe you can succeed? Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." It's not enough to simply conceive it. You must believe it. So ask yourself honestly, do I truly believe in my own vision? Or am I waiting for others to believe first? Because if you're waiting for your family to validate your dream before you take action, you'll wait forever. And that leads to the second, deeper question. Who are you living for? Yourself or their approval? Hill warned, the majority of people permit relatives, friends, and the public at large to so influence them that they cannot live their own lives. Are you permitting that influence to shape your destiny? Here's a hard truth. If you live to please them, you will betray yourself. Now, imagine this. It's 5 years from now. You look back at this very moment. Will you be proud that you stood firm in your vision, even when they didn't believe? Or will you regret that you let their doubts shrink your life? Because in the end, the cost of inaction is far greater than the cost of disapproval. Here's one final provocation. If you knew no one would ever believe in your dream, would you still pursue it? Because that is the level of conviction required. And paradoxically, when you no longer need their belief, that is when you become unstoppable. Napoleon Hill proved this through his own life. For years, he faced rejection, doubt, and financial struggle, yet he continued. And today, his work has impacted millions, not because others believed first, but because he did. So now the question returns to you. What dream will you refuse to abandon, no matter who doubts you? What step will you take today to claim your path? Because in the end, your life is yours to live. And as Hill said so powerfully, you are the master of your destiny. So, will you act as one? Now, let's bring everything we've explored to a close. You've seen how the world, even those closest to you, can try to limit your potential. You've learned that approval is not a requirement for success. And you've discovered that the path to authentic power begins within. But now comes the most important part: action. Because knowing these truths means nothing if you don't live them. So here is your invitation and your challenge. Commit starting today to live from your authentic self, not from their expectations. Ask yourself, as Napoleon Hill urged, do I control my own mind, or am I controlled by others? That question is at the heart of his life's work, and the answer defines everything that follows. Hill wrote, "You have absolute control over but one thing, your thoughts." This is the most significant and inspiring of all facts known to man. So, will you take control? Will you cultivate the inner vision, faith, and purpose we explored? Will you stop waiting for your family or anyone else to give you permission to pursue your destiny? Because here's the truth. The people who doubted you today may one day admire you tomorrow. But even if they never do, you will admire yourself. And that is worth more than a lifetime of external approval. Here's what I want you to remember as you walk forward. Your dream is valid. Even if no one understands it yet, your belief in yourself must become unshakable through daily conditioning and purposeful action. Your authenticity is your greatest asset. Nurture it, protect it, express it. And above all, live as the master of your destiny every single day. This is the core of Napoleon Hill's philosophy. It's not about blind ambition. It's about conscious creation. and you are the creator. So here is your next step, your call to action. Leave a comment below. What is one authentic goal you will pursue? No matter who doubts you, declare it, own it, because writing it down here is your first public act of courage. And remember Hill's words one last time. Set your mind on a definite goal and observe how quickly the world stands aside to let you pass. Now go, live boldly, be authentic, think, and grow, not just rich in wealth, but rich in character, courage, and life. I'll see you on the path.